Hello and welcome to Comic Book Wars episode 21, the comicbookspeculation.com podcast, apparently. Right? That's what we are? That's what we are. I'm Jimmy Linguini. You guys can introduce yourselves.
Yo, what's up? It's Sleepy John. The inquiring minds want to know, Jimmy, is your money on the Bagel Boss or on Dustin Diamond for this weekend's big bout? I don't know if it's a UFC card or maybe it's like an undercard for UFC. I'm not sure how that works.
It's like 3-minute rounds. 3 1-minute rounds. It's going to be terrible.
Yeah. That. All right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm your weekend update correspondent, Nico, with comicbookspeculation.com. It's good to be here.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. It's good to be in your presence, Nico.
Thanks, buddy.
Somewhat remotely.
I'm glad we're all here. What's been going on this week? Seems to be a lot going on. First, we have Nico did an interview with Key Collector on Friday. That seemed to be very well reviewed. I noticed a lot of fan participation.
Yeah, I heard lots of comments on it. Sounded like it went well, Nico. What's your recap of it? Give us like a quick overview of what you discussed.
Well, we just kind of provided a forum for the owner and operator of the largest comic book collecting app on the market on the YouTube channel to come on and kind of talk about his product. And it was an attempt to sort of discuss some of the concerns that people had with the app, how it's progressed over time, different changes that he's made to his thinking about the app, and we talked a little bit about the future of the comic book market. As I'm sure you're all well aware, it was a contentious interview. People think that I should have berated him online.
What do you mean contentious? What do you mean? You just using big words?
In other words, it's mildly controversial.
Not really.
Because I didn't berate him about perceived inadequacies that people expressed in the live chat or have expressed, silently or in any number of buying groups.
How do you express something silently?
It's called SBD.
I noticed a lot of people
silent but deadly.
A lot of people in the chat were like getting mad about Final Order Cutoff, and they were saying things like,
"Oh, I don't know what does he have to do with Final Order Cutoff?"
No, see, that's what there was a lot of anger in the chat, and it didn't make any sense, and it just felt like a bunch of crybabies.
He does,
and I made that as clear as possible to the people I could that were there, because I didn't like it. It was a lot of like, oh well, you shouldn't talk about Final Order Cutoff. It's like, dude,
isn't he doing a list now for FOC?
I think a bunch of people are. Who cares?
I don't know. Yeah. Let's be honest about the Key Collector app. I mean, what I use it for and what his target audience uses it for are two completely different things.
Go on, I'm listening. Can you describe?
I want to hear what you use it for.
I mean, I can look through boxes without having to look at an app to pick key books.
I disagree.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't.
No, he does. Well, he does. He just picks out the wrong books, but that's neither here nor there. No, I'm just kidding. No, I think you're right, Nico. That a lot of people. I mean, I read people's posts that say this. Thank you for Key Collector. I went and found these books using the app. I want to see somebody using the app going.
I get so, dude, when people look through my long boxes that are looking at the Key Collector app, I'm thrilled.
Yeah. How long does it take to go through a long box looking every book up?
It would probably take 10 years. I mean, even if the stuff's alphabetical, I don't know, but I get excited. I'm just like, oh, all right. They're hopefully going to spend some money. They're going to see like, that's there. I mean, I don't know that like I have any books in my long boxes that are not on the app. They might be, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, like everything's on the app.
I would even, if there was somebody there, I'd even pull it out. Like, look, here it is.
Yeah, you should download this. Buy all the books.
No, I got the app up. It tells you right here. It's in a very important book. You should buy it now.
Yeah, pay market price.
I'll even give you a little discount.
I'll give you a little discount. All right. That being said, dude, he again scoops people, and I think people are butthurt about that too. That he's like getting scoops before they are. But I don't really understand.
He doesn't get scoops anymore. Let's be honest. He got a couple. He got body bags and That was basically what put him on the map.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know
mean,
if he gets stuff before other people. I can't think of anything
he
recent.
Not
gets he gets it.
anymore.
I mean,
I mean, he
the
gets it
market
pretty
moves
early
so
though.
fast that
Market
like
moves
it's
fast
very
enough that
easy to
anybody.
get.
Yeah,
But
it's hard.
The
But the
thing
point is,
I was talking to somebody else about it the other day. That's what I feel the biggest advantage or the reason that I pay for it is that he is the aggregator of all comic book news, more or less. So I don't have to go to 17 different movie and comic book news sites, every hour of the day. If I check, we all check them fairly regularly, or we have email. But if I could pay $2 a month and have somebody send me that info, like pretty
yeah, to
much,
hit like 80 to 90% of it at all times, as early as I could possibly
yeah,
find it at all times, and I'm good at it.
is your
Come
time
on,
is your time not worth $2 a month? I mean, I know mine
right?
is.
Oh my God.
So,
Yeah, it's a deal. He's a nice guy and works hard at this thing. And like, I don't understand why people don't want to support people that are, just trying to, make it for themselves. Like, the crabs in the bucket theory of like
yeah.
living is ugly.
I don't
Like
even know what that means.
it means like I gotta pull him down so that I can get ahead.
But what does that have to do with crabs and buckets?
That's what crabs
It's a
do
lot
when you
of
put them in a bucket.
that's a lot of like FOC stuff where people are complaining now about FOC, which I do agree with. It just means shift what you are going to make your money on if you're into flipping.
And obviously someone was going to do it, right? Like
Oh yeah,
Jack and what's his name, Brian, do that show. Like if they didn't do it, somebody else was going to.
I mean, I thought there was a few people who did it. So I don't
Sure, I'm
know.
sure there are. I mean, I
Key
imagine there will
collector
be even more and more people that'll do it. I mean, it's just like it's not in today's day and age to think that you're going to somehow like shame people into not doing that. It's pretty naive.
You should. That's how you should always try to like get what you want to happen.
Shame
the
and guilt
best way.
people, intimidation,
Yeah.
threats.
Yeah.
That's
It seems to work out
that's
for
how
some
Jimmy's
people.
going to get this car.
Yeah.
That's how Jimmy's going to shame this person.
Yeah.
He's going to end up in the back seat.
Could be.
Oh,
Could
and Angry Mr. Bungle, who continues to have the best handle of any person in the comic book community, indicates that Comics Heating Up has had a weekly FOC article for a long
Yeah,
time.
no,
Now,
listen, a lot of
I
people
don't go
do
to that
this.
website, but that's interesting
Well,
information.
speaking of websites and bad specs,
Let's shame them.
This week seems to be more focused on more of this Benji Parker stuff. And I don't know, like it seems really dumb. What do you guys think about Benji Parker?
I think the two books that people are going after. So you have up here the Last Avengers story, number 2.
Well, yeah, so we
Which
talked
has-
about it last week.
Talked about
Right.
last week, Spider-Girl number 59.
Because that's Bleeding Cool came out with an article and said that Spider-Man #1 that was coming out last week was supposed to be about Benjamin Parker and not Peter Parker, like everybody assumed, and then so that's what happened. But I guess the whole situation is like, well, that's good. I guess the thing is like where, like which,
I like that Jimmy's unfazed.
like
He did, he
which
just kept rolling.
universe does it take place in? Does this really matter? And people have been trying to jump on the first appearance. So Bleeding Cool put out that the first appearance was Spider-Girl 59. And then a few days later said, oh, actually, just because the market is saying
Hold on,
this.
who said this?
Bleeding Cool put out another article that
Bleeding
said, hey,
Soul.
just because the market
place.
is saying
I'm
that
sorry.
this is the first appearance, actually this is the first appearance. So Bleeding Cool started it, and it's all goofy. But yeah, it's the Last Avengers story issue 2 features an older Benji Parker. All of these are alternate universe books that don't take place in the more. So who cares? Doesn't matter. I don't think so. I picked up one copy of this today, and I'm certainly going to be listing it as fast as I can tomorrow. So I mean, I don't think these are books to be.
Are there copies up right now? There was one copy earlier today when we were knocking out the outline, and it was a 2-for-1. You could get the Last Avengers 2 and a Spider-Girl 59 for like $75.
Yeah.
Good for that seller.
I'll put mine up at like double that. So we'll see what we can do.
No, I mean Jimmy's right. Both these books are not the same in the same universe, same character. They have the same name. I think it's pretty obvious that whoever came out with it first, they were copying the same name in different universes for the same character. Because the
What do
same
you
character.
are they like? It's Benjamin Parker Jr., so it's Uncle Ben Jr. So it's not really like there could be tons of characters
It's
like
not
this in the
Uncle Ben
universe.
Jr.
I mean, if his
What
name
is
was
that?
Frank, it would
That
be
doesn't make any sense.
it would
It's
be like
Uncle.
an easier spell.
It's Junior of Uncle Ben, who's dead.
So Uncle Ben is not Peter Parker's dad, though.
Yeah, but so
He's
what?
his uncle. He's his uncle. Well, that's not how Junior works.
Yeah, it does.
Maybe
work,
you
but
don't
could-
know how genealogy works.
Suffice
You
to
can't
say,
just-
we all agree
Look at,
that
like,
neither of these
whatever.
books are good long-term spec. They are books to like grab for nothing and flip real quick to people who want them. But I don't think anyone would suggest that anybody pay like top dollar for either of these books under any circumstances.
I wouldn't be paying more than $1 for either one.
You wouldn't pay like $4.
If I had to.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
certainly
I'm pretty
wouldn't
sure
pay.
if you could make
I don't think
money,
I'd
you'd
pay
buy it.
10.
Yeah.
Yeah,
10, sure, whatever.
I don't know if I'd pay 10.
But yeah, I don't know how long this
That
is
might
gonna
be too much
last.
work because
I
I don't
mean-
think I could get around to flipping it in time.
No,
I'm
you
lazy
would
with my
not.
eBay.
It
Right.
would, it would be
If
you'd find it in a pile in 2 years and go, oh crap, there's where that book went.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
Marvel
struggle
could
like that.
somehow retro connect these all together, but who knows?
Yeah.
Like but unless that happens, these books are all fly by night books. You shouldn't be holding on to. And I don't think
they
I don't
even
think you should be
could,
holding out hope for Marvel to do that because there's
No.
no indication whatsoever that these characters are connected or anything. So
Nope, I agree.
the books are
I was
selling.
trying to think of a good analogy of like
Miles Morales.
that's
Yeah.
definitely not a good analogy.
No, that is because that's exactly what happened. That's what people keep bringing up. But I don't know. I don't think that this character really matters. And I don't
Oh,
think
Benji, that might be for the Abrams version. I mean, that might be a good analogy, but I'm thinking about like these prior same name, different persona first appearances.
They have it with a lot of characters, especially when they did the Ultimate Universe. They have all these different same iterations. And look at somebody like what the heck's the guy's name? Mr. Whatever from Venom, who is the ultimate Reed Richards. The Maker.
yeah. You're
Maker.
Right. Black.
You know,
Taskmaster.
Maker came over into MCU.
It's a
Like-
shame that FF1 has such a high print run that
Yeah.
Ultimate FF1 because that would be like good spec otherwise.
It has a number of things going for it. It has Maker as the first Ultimate series, you know, and then you had the first Zombies was 21, I believe. But the print
Yeah.
runs are just so high on those that the demand has not caught up to the supply, let's say.
Well, I
Can
mean,
always-
since Key Collector put out alerts for those books, those Marvel Zombie books, I have seen them move quite substantially out of dollar bins.
That's
at
good.
least.
We need
Yeah.
Jim Comics to talk about them, then the number will really move.
Yeah, I don't
Oh.
know who that is. I don't know who any of these people are you speak of. I don't even know who Key Collector app is.
I feel you.
All right, so what's next? We want to talk about Stumptown?
No,
Or-
no.
Oh.
I think the big news
Oh.
this week is Micronauts.
No,
you mean
Micronauts.
you mean Paramount?
Micronauts.
No, it's not Paramount. So
Hasbro.
I don't know when this happened, but Hasbro purchased the Micronauts thing for
2015.
property from the Mego company. You're saying
Mego.
2015, and then
Migos.
but yeah,
What
so
the fuck did you just call?
Mego.
He said Mego.
Mego. So anyways, Hasbro's teaming up with Paramount, and they're making some kind of all ages film, and to possibly make a franchise. Who knows? And right
No.
now, the person
You
who
got this
signed-
all wrong, dude. You're
no,
all
the
wrong.
person who signed on is the person who did How to Train Your Dragon. So
Yeah.
the director, at least.
So
Yeah, John,
Paramount-
please help. Thank you.
Paramount and Hasbro teamed up in 2015, and they said Paramount's gonna be co-producer on all of Hasbro's toy lines, meaning GI Joe, Micronauts, Mask, and Visionaries,
And
and ROM. So, what's confusing to me is GI Joe, the new GI Joe is coming out next year, does have both Paramount and Hasbro name on it as producers. All these movies are supposed to tie together. I don't think the GI Joe movies in the past, nor the new one coming out, will tie into the rest, but that was the main idea. I think Micronauts is going to be the first to create this kind of toy universe.
It's supposed to be all ages too.
It's supposed to be all ages. It's live action, which is weird because the guy that did How to Train Your Dragon, I don't know, it was animated. Not a big deal there. This book is moving pretty good now for about 30 plus in near mint.
Yeah, what are the Whitman variants going for?
Didn't even look. What do you got on?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I
think CGC might indicate that their first appearance is to the Whitmans, but who knows? But I think like right now it's gonna be they're gonna see the eternal effect where these books move from out of the dollar bins to the wall, and I don't know how long it's gonna last, but that's definitely gonna be the next week or two. I don't think that they have staying power whatsoever. The movies are gonna suck, but
I think remember when Eternals got announced and people are like, finally, I've been hoarding these books for years. And I mean, I went back and I pulled out like 3 or 4 Eternals #1. I don't think I paid more than $5 for each of them. I had 10 Micronauts #1s that I don't think I paid more than $2 each for. Like, there's going to be a lot of them out there when they start hitting the market. Like next week, it'll be a bomb. I bet these will be $10 next week in near mint.
I mean, it's possible. I definitely think you should be moving fast on them. It wouldn't be books that I'd be holding on to.
Now, what do you guys think about?
The CGC copies seem to be moving as well. They seem to have kind of doubled.
What do you guys think about the other series?
So,
what other series?
They said this is going to be a shared universe. So, what's left is Mask, ROM, and Visionaries. Mask and Visionaries, very few people know about. I think Micronauts is pretty popular. Mask was popular when I was growing up. And then the other one is ROM, which was probably the biggest comic success out of all the toys and stuff.
It's a horror comic.
What?
It is?
Yeah, ROM is absolutely like a horror comic.
What?
Just because Frank Miller wrote a couple issues.
Just because you're afraid of robots doesn't mean that they're... What is he going on about?
I'm not sure. We go on.
Anyway, what's the first Mask comic? That's not the IDW one, though, right? There's
no, they had a early one. Visionaries. Visionaries was a Marvel book. Yeah, they're all Marvel.
Anyway, the book I think to look for if you want to make like a long-term play on this, and I think they're pretty easy to find on eBay for the time being. They're very difficult to find in the wild. The last issue of ROM 75.
Is that the orange cover where he's just the silhouette of him?
I think it's yellow.
Yeah. Okay. I
But
saw one of those recently.
Yeah, but I'd snag them up. I look for them in dollar bins all the time, never find them.
How's this guy saying that ROM is a horror comic? We shouldn't be like, we shouldn't just be glossing over that. That doesn't make sense.
Do the robots take over? Is that why it's a horror? Like
I'm not Terminator? I'm not going to spoil ROM for you, but
ROM is like Terminator.
Are you afraid of it? Is it a lot like that M. Night Shyamalan movie? I think it's called The Visit, where like these two kids go to Grandma and Grandpa's house, and then like the movie's like it's a boring, terrible movie. And then the last 20 minutes, it has like the greatest twist of all time, and then it turns out into like this great horror movie. Is it like that?
If ROM is like Terminator, just blink both your eyes at the same time. Did he do it? I can't tell. The screen's so small. The screen's so small.
But yeah, so that's Micronauts. I think Micronauts is going to be the book that people
Whitman.
So
you keep saying Whitman, but I mean, who cares?
Good luck finding a Whitman variant. They're a pain in the ass.
So this was optioned 4 years ago. They finally got a director on, and it's going to be a while before a movie comes. I would say now is the time to start re-upping on ROM, because in 2017 they said there was going to be a ROM movie coming. It went up to near its peak in 9.8 during that time. Since then, it's halved. It's gone way back down. I would say now is time to buy ROM ones and wait for that announcement on that one.
And 75s.
75s. Sure, why not?
Trust me on that one. That'll be It'll be. I mean, you guys don't have to, but our listening audience does. It'll be comparable to Akira 38 and Akira 1. There's a lot of ROM 1s. There's not a lot of ROM 75s.
Nico exclusive.
Well, the book was already selling well. The last issue.
Which one?
The last issue, 75. I have one in my show boxes. I think it's like $10 Canadian. So
no.
Speaking of $10 Canadian, this book got optioned by, or this book, Key Collector put a thing out earlier today, and I went and grabbed my Showbox copies. I had about 3 for $10 a piece. So James Wan is making this into a movie, and that's been rumored for a while. So we'll see.
It wasn't
where that
rumored.
goes.
It was in 2016. James Wan signed on to be the producer for it, and they had a director who directed one of Jimmy's favorite movies of all time, San Andreas. And apparently that fell apart, I assume. So finally, James Wan looks like came on and agreed to be the director as well as a producer, which probably couldn't have worked out any better for them. And I guess they already started some production stuff for it. So looks like it's moving forward. It's just called The Malignant. It's not called Malignant Man. So there could be a little bit of a issue of translation to the comics there.
Yeah, but the book is selling for $30 now, which I thought was pretty
Nice.
cool. The
Yeah.
number one, so definitely up from what it was selling for.
Yeah.
That book kinda
One
took
thing
a turn.
that's interesting about that, and I've seen it more lately, is these books that you think die and then they come back again. Man, it just makes it hard to get rid of anything anymore. I mean, it's been that way for a while, but you get these independent spec books that what percent actually get made? 20%, and then you have a long boxes of the stuff that never does, like that you just try and get rid of at times, for a decent price. Now it's like, well, it might come back someday. I gotta hold on to that for that one day.
Yeah,
Hello?
I guess I don't know.
Hello?
I don't know anything about the book.
You're just ranting for a second there. I just let it go.
All right.
What the heck? There's one. There's supposed to be one more. There's supposed to be a thing there.
Oh,
Well, I don't know. That's weird.
well.
But yeah, I think Malignant Man's a good book. I don't know. Who knows? For sure. Who knows to be certain though? You know what I mean? I don't know.
Now you're rambling about nothing. For sure.
I don't know like how long the book's gonna last though. That's the thing. And
What book? Malignant Man?
yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it's a great book. I'm just saying I don't know how long it could possibly last for. So
Okay. So Stumptown comes out tomorrow on TV.
yeah, September 25th. It's supposed to show
Agent
up.
Maria Hill, aka the one chick from How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, it's got like a print run of like 6,500 copies. And I wouldn't ignore those second prints of number one if you get a chance.
I don't know. All I know is issue 2 and 3 are clearly the ones to go for because I couldn't find a number 1 when I went to a signing and got these people. So that's all I can say. Which obviously, yeah, it was important for me to get the slides properly to show that and to ramble on. I think it was. So whatever. But my point is,
I would like to meet her.
It's getting rave reviews.
Stumptown, it premieres in 2 days.
Is it getting good reviews though?
Well, I keep seeing trailers for it over and over again. So
yeah, it's getting big reviews.
I think it looks good. It looks fun. It looks she's like a rogue, kind of like Dog the Bounty Hunter kind of.
It's an important book because
is that what it's about? She's rogue Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, she doesn't work for the police, but she captures bad guys.
Oh.
And like in mercenary ways, more or less.
That show's not going to last.
It's an important book because it sets the trend of non-superhero, non-science fiction, horror, supernatural
but like,
comic
how many
books.
Shows do we need about cops?
You're missing my point.
Okay.
It sets the trend for like non-science fiction, non-superhero, non-horror, fantasy related, actual character-driven, transactional plot lines as a basis for a television series coming out of a comic book. And if that happens, if this thing's a success, that'll mean that that's going to happen more often. And that will change not only the way that television and films are made, I think, but because we've had like
what?
We've had smidges of that in the film industry before, right? like a history
Yeah.
of violence, for example. But I can't
Losers.
remember any time that's
Happy.
happened. Happy is definitely supernaturally sci-fi. It was on the Sci-Fi Channel.
No, the dude's on drugs.
It was enough.
That's the only part
Nah.
of it.
Nah, dude. He
He
has
just
an
sees
imaginary
things.
friend when he's sober.
Like, I don't
it's
know. I
actually
can't
his
think of any
daughters.
offhand, but I'm sure if I like
Fair
sat
enough.
down and thought about it,
The
I could
point
come up
is,
with a few.
that trend is an important trend to keep your eye on.
I think what you're forgetting is like this show would do a lot better if the name was an anagram instead of Stumptown. Something like CSI or like NCIS.
That's not what the word anagram means.
Or
You mean
Blue
acronym.
Bloods.
Yeah.
Or,
Anagram is the same spelled forward and back, isn't it?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't even know what's happening.
Exactly. Like I said, like NCIS or
Those are
all
not
those.
anagrams.
Yeah,
but-
they are. You gotta
Race
think of-
car.
you gotta-
Race cars are good.
You guys just aren't thinking it through. You got to think it through. You guys want to talk about the books for this week that come out that you're all excited about?
Yeah, I'm
I'm
really
glad you
excited.
do. I guess the first one that
I'm not excited about any books this
that
weekend other
Sleepy
than
was,
Powers of X5 for the record.
well, the one that
but-
Sleepy's excited about that he told me was this Absolute Carnage Miles Morales 1 in 25 Codex variant by Lionel Yu.
I like how Lionel Yu
It's a nice looking
does
cover.
Venom. Because remember he has that Thunderbolts variant from way back.
Mhm.
Venom looks pretty much exactly the same. Maybe he doesn't read like the comics to know what Venom looks like, but he's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna draw Venom how I want to. This is what Venom looks like.
I mean,
well,
it
that's
works.
like that.
I
I
like
respect
it.
That's not what he looks like in the comics, sir. Screw that. I do it how I want.
Well, I mean, is Scorpion in this book? Is that?
I
Is
have no
Scorpion even in the
clue.
book? Yeah, so
That is kind of funny. He might.
maybe
I don't know. I've
Maybe
seen
it's
his
just an
name
old
thrown
cover.
around. Actually, he's in something because I've seen his name thrown around a little bit.
I noticed that the signature isn't dated, so yeah, you never know when that
Uh-oh.
was. Never know when that was kicking around.
Could be
from.
old art.
The other book that comes out that for some reason you guys wanted to talk about was the 4th print variant of Absolute Carnage 1 because it features new artwork by Mark Bagley or something.
Yeah, why not?
If that's the
pretty
last print, that's a book I'll go back and
not.
pick up. It's
They already
not.
announced
Yeah.
the 5th print. It's ridiculous.
I'm glad I held on.
God.
And I mean, this is the week that we've all been waiting for, obviously.
Finally.
Personally, I have. Niobe isn't a real
Nope,
character,
nope,
but
nope.
Naomi is a
Yeah,
good
yeah,
character
yeah.
in the DC universe, and she's joining Superman. And she has some kind of Superman-esque costume, apparently. So there's 2 covers, this one, and then this one is the regular
She better
one,
put
I
an
guess.
S on her chest. That's
No,
about
she
the only
has,
way
like,
they can
she
save
has
this
this
character
moon,
at this
she
point.
has like a Harvest Moon thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It seems cool. I
I liked Naomi. I don't know that I read the whole thing yet. I think I only read up through issue 3. I liked it.
I mean, I don't know, man. What does it
I
even
don't
mean?
know.
Where is it going to go?
What does it
apparently
all
not-
mean?
And she's saying "Stand back, fellas" to Batman and Superman. So
I don't know, but
I
I,
like
bet
that
I bet people are really pissed off that spent like $500+ on those 9/8 because I think they're like $1.25 now.
yeah, that's their
Might
own
be a
fault.
good time to buy.
It may, in fact, be, but I still don't know how long you'd have to sit on them.
I think my favorite part was that DC said like this is the last print of #1, and they did what, like a 4th print or a 5th print, and then
they promptly reprinted it. Yeah,
and then they immediately did like a San Diego Comic-Con convention variant.
Yeah.
right
Promply.
after, where they gave.
I
it
mean, they
away,
did
so-
not even wait. Yeah,
It was the 3rd print. Yeah.
Oh, the 3rd print was the final one. Yeah, so I don't know. There's such.
I like
goofs.
the word bubbles on the A cover.
Yeah, it's interesting. We'll see where that goes. I don't know what the spec value of that is. This one I liked. I didn't order one, but I did like it. It's the Peach Momoko variant cover of Ghost Spider #2, 1 in 25 variant.
It's selling pretty well. I'm not a
Well,
big
that's
fan
the-
of hers.
is that the last issue of the series?
It's issue 2.
Number 2?
Oh,
It could be.
what?
The
What's
way
yeah?
Could be.
Yeah, what are they ending?
We're gonna reboot this.
Aren't they ending like? I thought they were ending like some sort of.
Yeah, they did. They ended
Spider-Gwen.
Spider-Gwen, and then they restarted as Ghost Spider. Where have
Yeah.
you been?
Where have you been?
I don't know.
So,
Apparently, not
I
paying
think-
attention.
the reason that this is selling well is because the solicitation said new characters and new villains in it, and like an old villain comes back or something. So, because the cover really, I mean, Peach Momoko is fine. She had one cover that did really well. It was her first Marvel cover. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's not an outstanding cover by any means, but I
No.
mean issue twos usually have a big drop off of print runs compared to issue ones, and
Yeah.
there's no store variants for this propping it up, so there won't be that many out there. But we'll see if supply meets demand because it's doing what $30 to $40 right now. So
Sure. Good if
well,
you can
according
get
to
it
you, I
below
don't know.
rage. If you can get it
Yeah,
below ratio, it's a good pickup.
and then what? Dead End Kids #3 comes out this week as well, and it's hitting about $20.
Yeah. Why? I can't understand why this is. Why people are still paying this much for these. I don't
Did
know.
it, did the price go down on issue two, or is that still selling well too? Because I know I sold mine for
It
I think $20.
it was still around 15-20 last I looked, which was last week I think. So still not a bad pickup. And
Yeah, I
nobody's
mean
read it that I know of.
if you can get them for cover price, yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. This week also has the new Black Label series Harleen.
I'll be picking that up.
It's $7.99, two covers, DC Black Label. It's written and drawn by the same person, whose name I don't want to say because it's
Not a
there's
fan of them.
like a bunch of hyphens and stuff,
Oh, who is it?
like
Can't
Stefan
remember.
Sajik or
Oh,
something. I
Stefan
don't know.
Sejic. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Did he do
Um,
both covers too? The
maybe
one
I don't
No,
know.
those are two different artists, clearly.
the one on the right kind of looks like a Chad Hardin or something.
I'm not sure, but I know he does. He writes it and he does the artwork. So I'm not sure which cover he did or if he did both
I
covers
like
or what.
these.
But
I like what DC did with these black labels.
well, this
Besides the Superman one, I think all the other ones have been well received.
this book is supposed to tell a new origin story for Harley Quinn. Has there ever been an origin story for Harley Quinn? I guess
Yeah,
there's been
Yeah,
a few, right? So
yeah.
we'll see where this one goes. Like I don't know.
I'm excited about it.
It seems interesting.
That's a good
Another
long-term play.
another
We'll
book
see
that
what the. I'd like to see what the old Comic Con numbers are going to be, though.
yeah, like that, like those
It'll
actually
be high.
get real. The next book that comes out this week that people seem to be talking about are what this Power of X #5. Are we at number
Bang
five
bang.
already? So
Have you read them yet?
who
I'm all
cares?
caught up. What do
So
you
good.
think, Nico?
Oh, couldn't be happier with the series. I was delighted to see that. What is it? House of X #5 is trending at the #2 spot on the eBay top 10 trending items list.
How do you get on that? Is it like Twitter? Like you just have
It's
to have a lot of searches for
it's
it?
views and searches. It's like some combination thereof is the algorithm. So not only are people searching for that title, but they're thereafter clicking on items within the search. And then it actually, if you take the time to look at that on your eBay app or on your web browser, it will give you the actual figures, like the raw data, which is pretty sweet.
Oh, really? That's kind
Yeah,
of cool.
but
I
it's a
looked
big
it up.
indicator for me.
It's not selling for that issue was also one of the red issues in terms of the reading list, which meant it was it's assumed that those red issues are the key issues. It's only selling for like $8-9, which it's not bad for a book that's a week old, but not something that I would be going out buying at cover price to try and flip. But I think
I'd buy it at cover price to try to read. And
yeah.
I can't encourage people enough to be reading these two series. They're exceptional.
So basically, the big thing that happened in #5 was that they figured out the Gold Balls was basically putting out. Yeah, how can we give it up to Hickman for pulling out these obscure characters that nobody really cares about? I never realized Nimrod was just
Gangster. Dude,
how is
Hickman's a beast.
Nimrod? Nimrod's like a badass. How is he not like used more?
I mean, they care now. So
Yeah. So Gold Balls
I'm
basically puts out like eggs that they inject with it's DNA, and so DNA from Mr. Sinister, right? He has captured DNA from like all the people in the world basically, and they told him to in one of the alternate timelines of the book, they told him to get all the mutants first because they were then able to use the DNA to stick into these eggs. It's kind of like Jurassic Park, basically. I don't
Good
know if
movie.
Hickman ever saw that. Do you remember when the
The
series first
Cerebro
launched?
trick is brilliant too.
You remember? Yeah, and then so they are able to regenerate these people, but they don't have the. They're able to generate their form and their life, but they don't have the knowledge base. And then Professor X puts their memories back in them, basically, right?
Yep.
Through Cerebro.
And so he does, if you know what I mean.
But you remember how Hickman got kind of like, hey, remember when was it House of X2 came out? Did you ever read this one book? Because basically it was the same story. People were saying that. Yeah. And then he was like, well, yeah, I've read that. It's a good book.
Read on vacation, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, right. I read
It's
it
on my
while I was
reading
the
list.
beach. No,
Yeah.
it's a different story, though. It's a different thing. Did you think he ever saw Jurassic Park?
No.
And thought,
Hey.
there's this gold balls dude who
I also like
we got
gold
these-
balls, amber eggs. But anyway, regardless, it's a brilliant story. I like it. I'm a big fan. It's
good.
It's done better than any X-Men I've read since I was a little kid.
The thing I will say that is there's no speculation based on the series. Really, it's the prices are going up because people want to read the book, and it could have. I don't know. What do you think long term? Is there anything long term?
Depends on if they do this as a film, right? Like, so there are certain plot devices.
Is that the only way that stuff can work long term anymore? You think?
Yeah.
No, but kind of tragically. You know what I mean? Now, I mean, because here's what we don't do as a comic book community: we don't cherish exceptional stories.
Not anymore.
Not in like paper form. Exactly. I mean, there was a time when let's see here, the death of Gwen Stacy was as valuable as any Spider-Man book from the Bronze Age, right? Like it was as valuable as the first appearance of the Punisher. Yeah, or the first appearance of Morbius, right? There was a time when like Days of Future Past was like just an exceptionally coveted, high-priced book that was as valuable as, you know, any first appearance. And now we just don't really, as a community, kind of value books in that way, and it's a shame. Remember, you know, when you first started collecting when you were a little kid, like origin stories were big dollar books, and the ongoing hunt for the origin of Wolverine like fascinated me as a child, right? I mean, that's what was responsible for a lot of the magic behind X-Men as a series, or the origin of Gambit, right? Like just fascinated readers.
What's the origin story for Wolverine that you were looking for?
Well, you know, it was
Weapon X?
I mean, when you were a little kid, man, those Marvel Comics Presents books were like, they were great books, but you were looking for it like every issue.
That's what I was thinking.
But like you were looking for it every issue. You just wanted clues, you know. There you are, like page 9 or 10 or whatever, and you're like going to the spinner rack, and you're like, I'm gonna figure it out this month.
No, they didn't have those when I was growing up. I didn't buy my comics at 7-Eleven.
Well, whatever. The point is, a lot of people had that experience. And
Jimmy, did you buy your comics at 7-Eleven?
No.
Oh, Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons?
Yeah. No, I almost bought trading cards there today, but I was like, no, pass.
What type of trading cards?
I don't like hockey. I got hockey trading cards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking, Nico, I was thinking Days of Future Past as well. Like probably the most relevant, you know, to the past books that have value just based on story, really. And those do well. I mean,
they do well.
They're not hard to find.
I'm always hunting for those in high grade. I like them. They've seen renewed interest actually recently. Have been ticking up. Not, you know, like with some sort of like explosive growth, but you've seen like an incremental uptick, and I think a lot of that is as a result of the House of X and Powers of X storyline having such success.
Just all X-Men books, pretty much. I mean, till you get to the real high print run stuff.
Yeah.
So they are also starting to roll out the new X-Men series that they have 6 new series coming out. New Mutants comes out this week. I don't
So,
know if
New
there's
Mutants
any.
is this week. Are you
Yeah.
sure?
hmm
Okay.
I like that cover, but it's there's nothing to it. It's not. It's
Why is
just
it
like
just
a.
me? There we go.
Well, I liked
Some-
it next to your head because it showed how big a comic book was
Oh,
relative.
comic books are pretty big. Yeah. So
Yeah,
this is
it's
this
about
is
head
what
size.
what's the ratio on this one?
It's not a ratio. It's just like
This
a
is the
C
regular
cover or
cover.
something.
It says variant though.
No,
Oh, so it's
it's
an
like
order as many as you want. Okay.
well, it might be like a unlock
Qualifier. Okay.
order.
Yeah.
Yeah, qualifier. But I
I
like
mean, it
this
has all the
artist.
characters on it.
Yeah, it's a cool cover. I'm interested to see how these spin-offs do. So they have New Mutants, X-Force, X-Men, uh, Excalibur, and then 2 new series, Fallen Angels, and I'm not gonna remember the other one.
Here's what's interesting for me is which characters, or if any, are we going to see really kind of like jump out?
Well, you know what I was thinking this
Because
week? I was gonna highlight all these characters that have shown up in House of X. Like House of X 5, they had the list of the team that creates that's able to do all of the things necessary to regenerate these people. And I was
yeah,
going through them. I'm like, nobody cares about these people.
it's in
Like Gold Balls.
it's in the weekend update. Yeah, I
Is
took
it
the exact same position. Thanks for reading.
Cypher?
But
Yeah. Thanks for reading.
yeah, Robert
Cypher.
Fordham is all over it. I'm like, if there's one I really think like has a shot out of New Mutants,
I
Magic.
got it. I got one. No, that's not who I was thinking.
Oh.
No,
I mean,
it's
because
Duke.
I think Ileana's
what's
an undervalued character. She hasn't exploded.
Dude,
She's
how
got a
is she
strong fan base.
undervalued?
Dupe.
Dupe.
Her
Yeah,
first
Dupe.
appearance isn't worth
What about
Jack
Dupe?
Taco, homie.
What about
Dupe.
Dupe?
None
Dupe
of
will
them.
be.
I'm gonna
Dupe
keep
will be
saying
getting
Dupe until people recognize.
next year. Dupe will get real popular because they're remaking the movie. Ivan Reitman's going to be involved, and there is Slimer.
So Strike Force is
in
the
there.
other series that comes
Yeah.
out this week. I don't care, but apparently
I don't care.
it's a
But
big team of heroes accustomed to darkness, a strike force, if you will. At least that's what I heard online.
the one thing that
it's supposed to have what Blade, Angela, Spider Woman, Wakan, the Winter Soldier, who apparently is a darkness character, Monica Rambeau, and Damian Hellstrom. So
is this the first time Damien Hellstrom has been not Hellstorm in a comic?
I don't know.
Because I feel like it is.
Yes.
Was he called Hellstrom in a comic before, or is this a result of the Disney?
I think this is absolutely a result of Disney Hulu stuff.
So
this
you think
is
that this might be a significant book because like CGC might put that on the label?
No.
I hadn't thought about that, but I might make a request.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
People, I would like to know what is the first appearance of this character because I only buy the graded books based on what the label says.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
So this is a 1 in 100 Casada. It's actually selling for about.
I fucking puked a little bit in
me.
my mouth when you said that. I'm sorry.
Sorry, that's how some people are now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually am kind of interested in reading the story.
Yeah, I might give that a roll.
Yeah.
It's obviously totally inspired by everything that MCU is doing. So Angela should be coming up soon. Okay, we agree. They got Blade. Spider-Woman's coming in. Well, that's a Sony thing.
I would not be surprised to see if they drop her in a Thor movie or a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. All jokes aside, that wouldn't be like a big. You wouldn't see me be shocked by that one.
So would anybody go for the Age of Ultron 10, Angela, or would you just go for Spawn 9, even though it's not
Spawn 9
Marvel
newsstand all the way? It's the only.
I don't know. I think I found an earlier appearance today, actually.
Earlier than Spawn 9?
Yeah, no, you're right, Jimmy.
Well, when did Spawn 9 come out?
Whenever they released it.
Yeah, so I found a book where like there's an interview with Neil Gaiman, and it's from 1994.
Okay.
It's called It magazine.
Some Topher shit right here. Watch
It
out.
#1. It's
Yeah,
not. I
right.
bought it for $2, so it's not a big book. But in it, there's an interview with Neil Gaiman where he talks about like Miracle Man and how like Eclipse is going out of business and how they won't admit to it. And then like there's a special editor's note at the back that says we reached out to Eclipse, and while they did not respond to if they're going out of business, every time they picked up the phone, they said hello Eclipse Comics. So we have to base on that they are not going out of business. I think they went out of business like a few months later. But in that interview, he talks about Spawn 9, and then there's a picture of the cover,
That's a
and he
great
says
documentary.
I'm going to go write it in 2 weeks. So I don't know when it was published.
Really?
But, I mean, I guess that's something to think about.
In today's day and age, that's a flip.
Dude, that
Yeah,
is a
but
good-
again, it
that's a
cost me
good one.
$5. There's this, or no, it cost me $2. Sorry, there's one on eBay for $5. There's a sticker on the cover. I mean, I'm just going to keep it, but I think that's something to look into. I guess I could do that now. But another book that I guess I thought was interesting this week that I didn't get a picture of for some reason is the 1 per store variant for Dark Crystal. Have you guys heard about that at all? Oh yeah, Spawn 9 might have come out earlier. So whatever. I'm probably wrong in talking.
Thanks,
nonsense.
guys.
Yeah. So Dark Crystal has a 1 per store variant that I think was.
What's the matter? It's
Well-
lots of Dark Crystal comics already.
This new Dark Crystal book is a direct prequel to the
TV
Netflix
show?
series. So there's one
Wow,
comic that's a
cool.
prequel to it, but this one takes place right after that. And the Netflix series has been getting a lot of attention. So based on that, I think that this series might get some attention. The 1 in 25 is a virgin with just the crystal, or not 1 in 25. The 1 per store is just the crystal, and all the guys are reflected on it. So I think
I
that,
can't take that series seriously, dude.
Yeah,
Like
I
I
mean,
watched it,
no.
I'm just like, what?
I wouldn't
I think
even.
people-
I'm surprised you wasted your breath.
Greg had it on the television downstairs, so I was like trying to do something, and he was like enthralled, and I was like, maybe I can watch it.
are you Dharma?
What's the
I would
Dharma?
like to.
No, are you Dharma?
What's
I'll say it
Dharma?
again.
Dharma
You
and
know,
Greg.
he's Greg, you're Dharma.
Dharma and Greg. Dharma and Greg.
What?
Dharma and Greg.
Okay, we're gonna just go. Well, I'm not saying it again.
All right. So that's all the new.
Oh, so
books
he's
we have,
Will
right?
and you're Great.
I feel
Will
like
and
Jimmy
Greg.
keeps saying things about the Buddhist religion and tradition, and that it's not very tolerant.
Mm.
What's
As
going on
you
with
would
Miss
say.
Marvel? What's going on with Miss
Moving
Marvel?
right along.
What's going on with
That
Miss
was-
Marvel 5?
That was my sleepy speck of the week.
Oh,
Oh,
who's excited now?
No. So I picked
oh,
one
there!
of
I
these
found
up.
it. I found it. I found it on your thing.
There you go. You checked
Dun,
it
dun,
out.
dun.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was wondering what you were talking about. Go on this thing.
Nothing is going on with it. This is one you want to buy, in my opinion. I picked one up this past weekend for $1. This is number 5 from the first series of Kamala Khan. So we know she's got a TV show coming. Who else is going to be in the show? No clue. I read pretty much all this series when it came out, and I thought it was really good. It's obviously based towards a little bit of a younger audience, but she doesn't have many antagonists because it's basically her learning how to interact with her family, her friends, and she has these superpowers. She's learning how to control them and use them. So Captain Marvel's a big character in it. But this issue has the first appearance of 2 characters. A scientist who's called Gregory Knox creates this. He wanted to create a clone of Thomas Edison, but his pigeon got in the mix of it. So he created this character that's Thomas Edison as a pigeon, and he's
What?
called the inventor, aka Mr. Edison. Really, this character shows up multiple times, and obviously it's like a smart character because it's Thomas Edison based. I think it's a good one to pick up that could be on the show, although it's live action, so I'd be really interested to see how they would do this. But one of the things that G. Willow Wilson said, who was one of the creators of Kamala Khan, said, like, I'm not sure how they're going to do live action when she has, like, her hands blow up real big and stuff. So if they're going to do those kind of special effects, I could see them bringing in, like, a weird human pigeon character. I think it's cool. I'd love to see that. I mean, if a cat book can go for $100 because of a Captain Marvel movie, couldn't a pigeon character go for 25? Okay,
Listen, I'm
all
not
right,
saying that
I'll
this is a
buy
bad.
them
I'm not
as a
saying it's a
matter
bad
of
spec book.
principle.
I think this is
Right.
funny,
Yeah,
right.
and I think I
I'll
have
buy
one of
them as
these.
a
'Cause
matter of principle.
I bought like a set of 1 to 5 of Miss Marvel for I think like $25 right before it got hot or whatever, or right as it got hot.
Yeah.
So I definitely have one of these. And I think that's really funny spec. So good on you for actually reading a book and pulling this up. I think that's great. I definitely didn't expect this when I put these pictures together. So, that's funny. But no,
Well,
I think there aren't a lot of characters that they'll use for Miss Marvel. I mean, I think the likelihood of them using this character are slim because they'll probably use ones that are in the Marvel universe that has never
Yeah.
actually met this character before because Marvel's weird like that. Because I mean, that's how the Daredevil and some of the other series went. But we'll see
Mhm.
where it goes.
I agree.
I think this is a really funny character, and I think that we should be exploring funny Miss Marvel characters because these could. I mean, season 1 maybe not. Season 2, season 3 perhaps. So
Yeah.
and I
I
think
have no
Peter
clue what
Renna
they're
brings
gonna
up a great point in the
No,
chat.
he was way
Uh,
off. Oh,
I dig the suspenders and vest. So I
That's
don't know.
great.
We'll see.
That's great, Peter. But he said a live action cockatoo, which he was way off. It's a pigeon. Come on,
Definitely, yeah. I don't know.
dude. Yeah.
Don't
You know?
sleep on a bird.
I think that's funny spec. So whatever. That's
a good one.
Do you want to do your Nico's vintage market watch?
Damn.
Okay, let's
excited.
do that.
Yeah, hit it up.
Because apparently that's what I have set up next.
Yeah.
Damn. Woo!
Bam.
All right. Phantom Lady number 19. Fair. 1-0. Raw. Live auction, it sells for $404. The book's described as having a detached cover with spine split, a small pieces, plural, out of the bottom of the spine, as well as a few short tears, multiple diagonal creases on the front cover, and a small chew piece out at the bottom right corner of the front cover.
It seems underpriced.
And
The thing
Jimmy
is
still
falling
thinks it was
apart.
a steal.
Okay, beat but complete. I mean, it's a very
Beat,
classic.
but-
It's a very classic
Beat, but
cover.
complete. I like
It's
that.
not just a classic cover; it's a particularly hard one out of the run.
Plus, it's
that
it's
what
a
the-
classic Golden Girl cover.
Matt Baker,
So I mean, I can understand. I think that's actually pretty reasonable price, honestly.
absolutely a
So I
pretty
wouldn't
reasonable
expect it to
price.
say 1,400.
Can't you say all the Phantom Lady Matt Baker covers are classic then? If you're gonna say
Yeah, I
this is
could,
Yeah.
but this
classic?
one has been
one's-
used as a bunch of covers for hardcovers and has been reprinted as magazine covers and reused for different things, and that's what I think signifies it as a classic cover. This is a cover that I've seen numerous times. It's definitely in the Gerber photo journals, if that means anything to you, which it shouldn't.
No,
But, I think
doesn't.
it is a classic cover. I definitely think it is. I think there are a lot. I think most Matt Baker covers are great classic covers, but I think this one is definitely way beyond some of his other ones.
Yeah, so somebody I think got a really good deal on this. You don't see Phantom Lady books come up in live auctions hardly ever. You don't see live auctions for Golden Age books hardly ever. At least not when they're like, this kind of Matt Baker goodness. But it's one of the things that I just kind of like wanted to highlight because it tells us a couple different things. One, it happens. 2, you should keep it on your saved searches. And 3, there are so few listings in the Golden Age. If you do a good job of looking at live auctions there, you can potentially still have some good buys and get some good deals even on eBay. I love this book. It's one that is in my collection and one that I particularly wanted to highlight. So moving right along.
This is another classic cover, I would say. And again, I would say because it's on a bunch of hardcovers. And I'm pretty sure this one's in Seduction of the Innocent as well. If it's not, it's in Parade of Pleasure. So I'd have to look into that one. Why are you laughing? Why don't you think this is a classic cover?
Who are you talking to?
You. Mr.
Oh,
Laffer.
I was looking at something else. Sorry.
Oh, sure.
We have people live comment on our videos. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, I did. I just didn't
And
think.
an unidentified brown stain.
Whatever. My point is, I think this is a
Was
good
that in the
point.
description? That'd be awesome if it was. But anyway, here's what's cool about. I mean, I'm just like reading this stuff real quick, kind of typing it up.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Punch 9 book, a CGC 1.8 copy sold in a live auction for about $2,000. Here's what's interesting about that. The last reported sale on GPA was in February of 2018, when a CGC 6.0 copy sold for $3,400. Seeing
So
massive
this went for half
2
the
Gs.
price, but it was in a way lower grade.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, about a third of the grade, less than a third of the grade. We've seen massive appreciation in the PCH market. Punch 12, of course, is the standout book. I think I've said it before, looking for those like under books, looking for the Tomb of Terror 16 as opposed to the Tomb of Terror 15. There are other examples, I think is something that you should think about doing, right? Looking for Chamber of Chills 21 or 23 as opposed to 19, because they're just as rare and generally, a fraction of the price. So here we're seeing these like huge appreciations, exponential growth in the PCH market, while the Good Girl art, we've got some buys and some real steals, where books that are, standout books in the Good Girl market are sneaking by for steals.
Sneaking by.
Yep. All right. Next one is Underworld Crime #7. Sold in the live auction on eBay for $2,200 in CGC 4.0 condition. I think this is an underwhelming result. Again, we've got crime and Good Girl art, not traditional pre-code horror. The reason I think this is an underwhelming result is the CGC 5.0 sold in December of, the outline says 2019, but had to have been 2018, for $3,100. And when we compare it to the massive explosive growth in Punch 9, I think this, again, demonstrates that, there's a lot of eyes on PCH books, but not as many eyes on these other segments of the Golden Age market. And I think, you can still find some really classic books at reasonable prices if you're moving away from the trends.
I mean, that's still $1,000 a point, which isn't bad, I don't think.
Oh, I mean, I don't think anybody's crying about their auction result, but in light
That's
of
also the last issue in that series, which it didn't last very long. Do you know who that was? Who the publisher on that was? I don't know. I didn't look that up. It seemed like it was an off company though.
Oh, I do know the answer to that. Let me see. I almost put it.
Let's just go with.
No, it's not. I don't think it's Avon. I almost put it in the.
Avon.
I almost put it in the outline. What the hell is the answer to that one?
Okay, well,
I apologize. It's Fawcett.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Well, they're well known.
What's going on with Doc Savage? I noticed you guys put that on the thing. So a bunch of.
Did you figure that out, Nico?
I did not.
So Doc Savage was optioned as a movie a few months ago.
A long time ago.
Long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the first.
And The Rock was attached to it, right?
The first appearance
got
of that
optioned.
PC book, Doc Savage 1.
Yeah.
You can find it in like $3 bins. It's very inexpensive.
No, I don't know about that.
What?
I'd buy that for $3, even if there was an option.
I purchased quite a few of those right after the news broke.
Well,
so
people don't know what they're doing in your area.
Apparently not.
Is this from Wes?
No.
Wes is.
It's still a $20 book.
Better. Wes has better things to do than worry about $20 books.
I don't know. I was there today and I said, "Where are those Micronauts?" He's like, "I got like them in a box. I got to look for them." I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna go in the basement. When I come back upstairs, I want to see some Micronauts." And I came back and he was like, He went out. He was gone. He was gone like the wind.
That's
I was
hilarious.
like, this. I was at his employees.
I
I was like,
respect
you
that
guys.
level.
I was
I
like,
don't
you
care.
Yeah,
guys.
right. He's
I was
like,
like,
yeah, I'll look for those.
I was like,
You
if he
come
comes
back
back
up.
with those books, you guys should call me. But I mean, you guys, and he didn't call me, obviously. So
He goes, hey, did Wes find those books for me? He's like, no, he went to get a sandwich, dude.
yeah, no, it was seriously something like that. It was like, oh yeah, he'll be back soon. And I'm like, where did he go? He's like, oh no, he just went to do something. I'm like, what you guys are dicks. But anyways, things happen.
That's
Yeah, so
funny.
Doc Savage #1 sold what 44 copies
It must have been on some podcast or some bullcrap.
last week. Yeah, I don't know who's pushing that book, but somebody did, or someone knows something we don't know. Before I go out and grab a copy of my own, I'm gonna do a little hunt and figure out where that news emanates from. Anybody in the live chat have some
Well, I mean,
information
we
about
know
that?
that we
We'd
know that a
appreciate it.
movie is happening, so it could just be.
I mean,
That
they've
was
been saying that
years
for a
ago, dude.
long time,
Yeah.
dude.
Like I bought
Well-
the whole run. I think it's 10 issues, 12 issues.
It could really be happening now.
When it was announced, and like I said, The Rock was attached to it. Like, how could you lose on that? I mean, if they made a Skyscraper comic book, I mean, even if it was like in the penny bins, you would pick that up, and it would be a $20 book easily.
The Skyscraper comic book is just like evidence of like how they can't make movies now without it being aimed towards like different markets. Like that movie was completely aimed towards the Chinese market.
Hmm.
And it was terrible.
All right.
Well,
Whatever.
yeah, Bloodshot. But anyway, we were talking about
So
Star Wars.
Star Wars ends at 75 apparently in November.
Yeah, the thing I thought was I saw this today. The thing I thought was funny about you remember? I think it was last episode when I mentioned who Marvel brings in as the Hatchet Man to kill off all the characters. So
Letter 44 author and lawyer.
yeah. Charles Soule is going to be writing a series called Star Wars Empire Ascendant. They didn't say how many issues it was, but they said that's going to wrap everything up in that Star Wars series. But it's amazing that, like, this dude, he's got a role, and he knows his role, and he probably gets paid well for it. I give him credit for that.
Yeah, he does have a lot of titles coming out. This is very interesting.
Do you know this? Have you guys read anything of this artist, Teenie Howard?
It sounds familiar.
Tini Howard. It's Marvel is like really exploiting her talent right now. She has so many books coming out. I had never heard of her. I just saw her name on something recently. She's writing a couple of the X books. Her history is not very long. She wrote like Hack Slash and stuff, but I'm seeing her name all around, and I was just wondering if anybody has read any of her stuff. She must be a pretty good writer, I'm assuming.
Well, I mean,
Maybe
she's hired at Marvel. You never know.
Yeah, Marvel has their run of definitely has a stable of good writers. Speaking of, Donny Cates may be going on Thor next year, and probably come off of Guardians of the Galaxy, stay on Venom. Jason Aaron's not going to be doing Thor anymore, which will be weird. Maybe Kate's got to bring some type of symbiote into Thor, right? So
That's your bet on that one?
I don't know how he does. Does he write anything for Marvel that doesn't have a symbiote involved?
If Cates goes to Thor, I think I was right about like literally everything he hinted at in the last 9 months. This guy would be like the most transparent, like easiest to predict, writer in the history of comics.
So what's Jason Aaron going to go to? Because he's been on Thor forever.
Probably
He's finishing.
anything he wants
He's finishing up King Thor, which is only a 4-issue series. Yeah, he could do whatever he wanted. So
Frankly, I'd be excited to see what he does. I hope he gets an X-Men book.
I see Trees is moving a lot recently too, right? What's going on with Trees?
Is it really? Is that Brian Wood?
I see a lot of people. No, that was Jason Aaron. I see a lot of people picking up copies and stuff.
Isn't that a key
Trees
collector
was
thing?
Trees was Jason Aaron.
Wasn't it?
I thought it was Brian Wood.
It's definitely Brian Wood, right?
Trees
Yeah,
is
I thought it was
Brian
Brian
Wood.
Wood.
We'll find out here.
But
Thought
didn't
so.
Brian Wood like rape all those girls or something?
Well, is he
What-
going to trial now, and that's why people are buying it?
Then like a bunch of books get canceled because he like raped some girls or something. It's Warren Ellis.
Thank you.
Ah, yeah, you're right.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're right.
I know nothing about any alleged
I agree, you do
sexual
know nothing, I
abuse
agree.
by anyone, crime, etc., etc. Moving right along.
Yeah, so Bloodshot is coming out in February 2020. But Sony has something else that interests me a lot more. Coming out.
No. Let's talk about the bit with
we
Bloodshot
can.
for a minute. It's
Oh, we
tremendous.
can.
Well, we don't know. We don't know anything for sure. It's just
Well, we know that a
Just a rumor.
casting announcement went out where they tried to.
they were
tried to
looking
get
for
us-
somebody to do some dub overs on Vin Diesel's lines,
Yeah.
and but it's questionable as to whether they don't like his voice in it or if he's busy doing Fast and Furious 9.
Doesn't he own like part of the Fast and the Furious movies?
I wouldn't doubt it. Why wouldn't you at this point?
So like, why
He's
would he
definitely
do,
got to be
I
a
don't know,
producer.
Yeah, so he's like rich. I would assume like that
Oh,
movie
God,
made
yeah.
billions of dollars, right?
I
So he
would
has
assume.
like tons of cash. So
I would
he's
assume
a terrible actor, but I don't know. I'm more excited for. They announced Last of Us 2 is coming out in February. So Last of Us is a video game.
The video game? Really?
Yeah. And,
How have they not made a second one yet?
First of all, Last of Us 1 was a phenomenal game. And they
Yeah.
apparently have put a lot of effort and time into producing the second one. There's a lot of different stories. I mean, it was all about a girl and her dad. The girl's now grown up and she has like a husband, but she also has like a girlfriend. At least that's what it shows in the trailers. So I have no idea what's going on. I'm really excited for it because I love that game.
So that
And I think that's going to revitalize the Dark Horse,
the Dark Horse books?
4-part miniseries, where I know like the first prints were really hard to find at the beginning, and the second prints did okay. So we'll see where that goes. But I think it's time to dig those books out and get ready for that because
that was optioned for a movie, and they had she was a kid at the time, the real young kid from
Ellen Page, right?
No, younger than her, from Game of Thrones. The real young girl.
Maisie Williams.
She was supposed to play the girl in that.
Yeah, the thing with
Which
the video
it was
game,
like,
though,
this is going to be big, and then it never went anywhere past that.
If you play the story mode, it is a whole movie. So I mean, it's pretty great. That's why I'm excited for the second part. Although the story does seem to get a little weird, and I'm not sure like what that's all about. But I mean, it does seem fun. So I think it's time to get those books out.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. Did they go down in value that much? They probably did.
Yeah. They took a pretty big dip, but
yeah,
I still think there's interest there, for sure.
I mean, I bet you could get $60 for set. It's only 4 issues.
Yeah. The other news that came out this week was there was some Batman casting news for this Robert Pattinson Batman. You know, Twilight Batman.
I don't know if I'd call it news.
What is what?
It was
I think it's
quasi
official.
news. I thought it was like they're in talks to do this.
Yeah, so
that
Jonah
could
Hill
be.
was in talks, and they don't know who he's going to play, and they're saying he was in talks to play like the Riddler or
The Penguin.
the
Penguin. He'd be an obvious.
Which, I mean,
Penguin.
either makes sense. I mean, I think his sister looks more like the Penguin these days than he does. But we'll see where
Jesus
that goes.
Lord, who would
What?
talk
She,
like
she
that?
wants to be an actor now, and she's in terrible
He has a
movies. I can
sister?
bring that up.
Who the fuck would say something like that?
His sister looks more like Jonah Hill than he does. He's all like
She's probably a very nice
skinny now.
person.
I doubt it.
Wow.
Her movies are terrible, but that doesn't matter.
What's
I
her-
mean,
what's
Bless
her
this
first
young
name?
woman.
What's her
What?
first name?
I think it's like Penny. I don't know. Just look it up. He has a sister. Who cares? Like, dude, look at you guys with your sympathy for like whatever. Now, like, you got me second guessing me. But I did see that there's been a lot of outcry over this one. Jeffrey Wright is apparently confirmed to play.
I fucking love that dude.
Play
who?
Commissioner Gordon.
He's exceptional in
Oh,
Westworld.
I thought did they? Oh, he was confirmed to play it.
I don't know if he's confirmed or not, but
pretty-
I'm
from
like
what I've read, he's
100%
confirmed.
okay. That's great news.
And I'm okay with it because he's great in Boardwalk Empire.
yeah,
Shaft.
absolutely.
And, Westworld.
I had to stop at the
Fuck,
end of
why can't he be
Westworld.
my Alfred?
Why
I
did you
could
have to
take
stop at
it.
the end
I'd
of-
take his
Wait,
mentorship.
Why did you have to stop at the end of Westworld?
Didn't he like take that woman behind the scenes and kill her or something? Or he was a robot or something?
We
I can't
don't
remember
have
what
to
happened.
ruin
Yeah,
Westworld for our
spoiler.
listeners.
He's a robot.
Jesus,
Spoiler.
man.
I can't remember what happened.
What a guy.
God
Who does
damn.
that?
Yeah, like there's like it was like Westworld
Now that
was
someone
like,
hates everyone on the podcast, right? Like right now, if someone
Westworld-
hates
This guy
Jimmy for
does
his
ruin
comments
Westworld for
about
people who haven't seen
Homegirl,
Westworld. Who
you
does
because
that?
they're like, I'm on season fucking 1 of Westworld, and me, you
How are
know,
you on
hey
season
Nick,
one? It's
we're
been out-
still
You're
homeboys.
the one on season 1.
yeah.
We're officially still the most hated
Westworld-
trio in comics. What's up?
Because we're all
Westworld
wearing
was like
hats.
a
I'm gonna call the
fake-
next one 3 hats.
Westworld was a fake Game of Thrones. Like they were just like Game of Thrones was like, oh, we
Fucking
got to
says
get
things
this.
like this.
We got to get this nudity in here.
It was
And
based
then
on the movie.
It's like, well,
Westworld. It was just a reimagining of it, and it was
and
amazing.
then like you're watching Westworld, and they're like, we got these people here. Yeah, they're nude on the table. They have to be nude.
God.
They have to be
Oh my
nude.
Nude
or
on the
else-
table, they have to be nude.
There's no
Oh
way.
my God.
It's HBO.
There's no way that we're able to figure out how the robots work unless they're completely nude. And
Bring
then we
on the
have to show that.
Watchmen.
Yeah.
Bring on the
No,
Watchmen.
this is good. This is good. Continue. So you didn't like it because there was too much nudity.
Let's stop.
I just saying like, what was that necessary? And
We're
anybody
pretty-
that put a
We're gonna be
anybody-
removed from YouTube. They're gonna be like,
Anybody-
and these guys, they just
Yeah, because
talk about
everybody-
naked people
They made fun
and
of
use
Westworld.
profanity, and they shame people
Shadow
because of their
banned.
body sizes.
I
And
mean,
then
did
the
you
one
see
guy,
the guys
he's just
working
a
on the
plant
robots?
collector app. What?
The guys working on the robots, they had never seen a woman nude. That's why they wanted the characters.
Neither
The
have I.
robots.
Why do you have to shame me for that?
I
I
thought
don't
you were.
even know what to
yeah.
say to this shit. Like this, you're
I don't think it's on the outline, but who's excited for Watchmen?
No, I'm not.
When's that
I've been
come out?
I've been
Another
rewatching
month?
Boardwalk Empire. We know that's way better than Watchmen.
Does that
October
come out in
10th,
another month.
October 20th, maybe.
10,
I don't know.
10,
Soon,
20.
something like that. Yeah, I think it's 10/20.
Is that director dude gonna tell us what the show's about yet?
I don't think so.
Damon
Which is what I
Lindelof.
like the most.
Yeah, he's just gonna keep it a secret until
I
it comes
fucking
out.
love it.
Good
Uh,
for
makes me
him,
so
man.
happy.
It'd be
That's
really good if it
interesting.
wasn't even Watchmen. It was like something else. It's, I mean, it's possible. They've only released what, like a 30-second trailer or something.
I don't know. They keep playing
Yeah.
the same 4 clips over and over again. It's great.
Yeah, they just have like the
Look at this.
Rorschach army.
Yeah, just kind of like mix it up a little bit. Just put the same thing out.
Yeah.
It's
Wait,
great.
is Dr. Manhattan in at the end? Oh no, we just threw that in there. That was from the Zack Snyder movie. Never mind.
Anyways, I think this was a great podcast. I like doing
it's
this
a good one.
podcast with you 2 hats, 2 bald
Yeah.
guys and 1 guy who isn't bald.
You're a
as far
good
as I
hat.
had
I'm a
anyways.
key collector hack, though. What's up?
No, you're bald.
Okay.
You're bald. I'm not bald. You're bald. Obviously.
Hi, I'm Mr. Mailbox. Wait, I don't sell Mr. Mailbox.
But yeah, we'll catch you guys. We'll catch
we're
you
having a
guys-
raffle. No, we don't do that either.
We'll catch you guys
Um,
next week. Same place.
There's a
same
top
time.
10 list. No,
But
we don't do
if
that.
you need like to watch content in the meantime, Nico did an interview on Friday, which you can find on the YouTube channel and on Spotify and all of our other links. So again, thanks for watching. We'll catch you next week. comicbookspeculation.com. Thanks, Nico and John. Goodbye now.
See ya.
Many thanks.